Martin Cove
There we
from
go.
Karate Kid, the
Hey guys,
the bad guy
is
from
anyone
Karate
here?
Kid, sweep the
The
leg.
blonde bad
getting
guy,
an
not the older
exclusive,
bad guy.
The older bad guy.
The old bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy who's
exclusive,
doing those commercials.
Yep.
More Mercy.
Yep.
Got
Yep. He's in Max
Here,
Reload
let
as well, Martin Cove. And so we showed Ernie
I
that
don't know how to
poster
mute
and
this.
said, "Hey man, do you mind if we?"
Anyways,
reach out
we're getting
and send you a link to
exclusive
the thing?" He's
review
like, "Oh,
from
yeah,
the
sure." And you never know, if someone's just being
of,
kind of cool and polite.
Max
or not.
Reload.
But sure enough,
It's
we reached
a
out
new
to
film
him. We
coming
watched
out,
the short
so
film,
hell
and
yeah.
we started chatting via email. And then
I'm
how
on
long
call
was
with
it
him
after
actually
that?
right
when
now.
we
At
So-
least a year.
about a year later, reached out to him when we had been going through writing the script for Max Reload, and said, "Hey man, we're doing this cool thing. Would you mind taking a look at it?" Essentially, yep. He said, "Sure." So we sent him the first very, very rough draft of the script, and it wasn't 2 or 3 days later that he got back with this awesome long email, and it included a bunch of kudos and enthusiasm, which was really neat, from one of our heroes. But he also had a bunch of really solid script notes because he's an amazing screenwriter as well. And so, having him have just a little bit of a contribution and touch to that early phase of development was really freaking cool.
Yeah, and then we did a really small Kickstarter run for the film just to kind of involve community early on, and he tweeted that out, so that was really cool. So there's a screenshot of a tweet from Ernest Klein talking about our movie, which is really cool for us.
Bananas, man.
Yeah.
I should try.
Well,
figure out
I don't think a lot of people know or associate Ernie Klein with the film industry, but his start is as a screenwriter, not as a writer. In fact, when he was writing Ready Player One, he already optioned it as a screenplay before it was even a book. And so when people get their nose out of joint about the movie Spielberg, which I think is a fine movie on its own, a lot of the creative decisions that he had to, he himself admitted when he made when he wrote that book, he's like, you know what? I'm never going to get the copyright to do all of these things, so I'm just going to put everything in there. But then once Spielberg signed on, it's like, well, wait a minute. Now you can include everything. And it's insane to see Batman, Marvin the Martian, the Ecto-1 tricked out DeLorean, all of that in one place, in one space. And to me, technically, the most amazing part of that film was The Shining. That
it's incredible.
Unbelievable. But your film reminds me of another film that Ernie made, which was called Fanboy.
Man, one of my favorites.
And and if anybody on this call has never seen Fanboys, do yourself a favor. It's just, it's popcorn. It's and the cameos in that film are great. Isn't Kevin Smith in that film also?
He had a small part in it, I think. I'm not sure because Ernie talked about it. I think it got.
I don't remember
if he was
there or
not.
not.
Cut. I'm not sure. There's a version out there where I believe he had a part in it, though.
I thought I recall that. I think Mark Hamill's in it. I know Carrie Fisher's in it, and I think also Billy D. Williams is in it too.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous film. Speaking of film, I want to show an exclusive. This is for you Gunters who are here. This is an exclusive clip. Scott and Jeremy were generous enough to share with us a couple clips. The first clip that I want to show you is let's see. Where's the one with what's his name? Will Wheaton. Is that the Arcade Heroes clip or the trio clip?
Yeah,
or the Reggie gets nethered?
The Arcade Heroes clip, Will Wheaton does voiceover narration as the news broadcaster, and just a little bit of setup on it. It is basically it's a piece of footage from 1984.
Yep.
That the local news station had run. They do a spotlight on cool new video games hitting the arcades, and so Will Wheaton is the broadcaster voice.
Right, and that's the trio clip, correct?
No, that one is just called Arcade Heroes, I think. The trio is with...
I got it. Arcade Heroes. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen right now. Hopefully the sound will come through. Enjoy this exclusive clip from Max Reload and the Nether Blasters.
John Carmack, hands down. Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, Quake. I mean, come on, the dude's a complete legend. Plus, I heard he's like a legit aerospace engineer.
Yeah, sure, but he didn't pioneer the movement. He was like second or third wave. Dude, it's Miyamoto. Donkey Kong, Mario. Draws that shit by hand. The guy's a French knight who's Japanese. respect. But guys, I'm talking about the most legendary and influential game developer of all time.
Here we go again.
Our hometown hero, Eugene Wilder, creator of the Nether series. Guys, the one and only. You think any of this would have happened if it wasn't for the Pixel Master himself? All right, check it out, legit.
The year, 1984. The location, Wild Child Games in small-town Middletown. A revolutionary console video game and best-selling fantasy franchise lies solely in the hands of two rogue video game creators. Barton Grabowski and Eugene Wilder developed the groundbreaking Nether game series for the ColecoVision home entertainment system. The dynamic duo are seen here, working on the last Wild Child Games installment, Nether Dungeon.
You know, you've totally outdone yourself, man. You are amazing.
And you are way too close to me right now.
I'm going to pause for just a second. Scott, is
Yeah.
this young man supposed to be Greg in the film?
That is a young Eugene Wilder is his character, and yes, and that is actually Greg Grunberg's son, Jake Grunberg.
You are kidding me. He looks
No.
just like him.
He does, man. It was perfect casting, and when Greg suggested it, we're like, absolutely. And Jake was just amazing. He's freaking awesome. We have two father-son legends in this film. We got Jake Grunberg and Greg Grunberg, and then we also have Martin Kove, as we mentioned, he plays John Kreese from Karate Kid, and his son Jesse Kove plays Steve, the UPS delivery man, as well. So got some father-son connections in the film.
I love stories like that. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Greg Grunberg, that means that you're not a fan of Heroes, the NBC series that Greg was in for a very long time. He's very active on Instagram. He's not joining us on this call, is he?
No, I don't believe so. And to add that, he's
No.
also Snap Wexley in the new Star Wars films, one of the lead.
That's correct.
pilots. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big win for you in the film. The only reason I wanted to pause on this clip and show you some more. The reason I wanted to show this clip is to show you that voice that you were listening to. That's Will Wheaton, our main man and narrator of the Ready Player One book on Audible and other audio sources, and that's cool. I want to get back to you guys. I'm very conscious of time, and we got a lot of questions. So let me jump back into the room. Yes, my camera's back on. So let me ask you that question. How did you get people like Greg Grunberg and Kevin Smith and Will Wheaton into your film? Like this isn't your first rodeo, but like, how do you do that approach? Tell us.
Yeah, man, it was a very patient, and we played the long game on it. And essentially, you make friends and you build trust. And we had done a really cool table read with Greg probably a year or a year and a half before the whole Max Reload concept was even a thing. And we just loved him, his energy. He was so generous with his time, and he's just a down-to-earth dude like us, but he's got over cool stuff.
Is he a gamer?
Yeah, man. It's funny enough. He's got a rad studio out in LA, and it is half of it's filled up in his warehouse is just arcade games, classics. Galaga, Pac-Man. So he's got a bunch of cabinets, arcade cabinets set up like an arcade in there.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we, first thing we did was we linked up with Greg, and we kind of wrote the role of Eugene Wilder around him. He was instrumental in helping bring on some of his friends, because we know he had worked with Lynn Shay, who's the lead of the Insidious franchise. She's been in Something About Mary and Kingpin. Hilarious comedic actor and a hell of a dramatic and horror film superstar. So when you have a guy like Greg on board, who's an awesome actor but also a really good producer, you can kind of lean on him and reach out and go, hey man, who do you know, right? And so it's with this kind of a film, with an indie film, there's a lot of risk because it's not being done by a studio, and sometimes they get a little squirrely. No one on the acting side wants to look stupid at the end of the day and sign on to something that isn't going to be a professional grade production. Having a guy like Greg on board, reaching out and saying, hey, this is going to be awesome. I'm in it. I'm a producer on it. Here's what we're going to do, was super helpful. And so that helped a lot of those dominoes fall in place. Kevin, he had been on a radio show out here in Arizona for a week promoting his comedy tour. and my buddy Brad was the DJ at the studio who had hosted him. And so what Jeremy and I did, and it's kind of the same way we reached out to Ernie too, we didn't even mention this, was we shot a personal video. And we sat down just like this, and we said, hey, man, I'm Scott, this is Jeremy. We're filmmakers from Arizona. We're doing this crazy thing. And we're trying to bring it to life, much like, Kevin, you did back when you were in,
like appeal to his independent, spirit.
Man.
Yeah.
And so we sent him that, and we cut a couple clips from Clerks and Mallrats into it where, like his characters met Stan Lee, and just sent it off to him. And we didn't know, again, if he was even going to see it, because they're busy and they've got a ton going on. Kevin got back to us in 30 minutes through Brad and said, tell the boy. And so the generosity we've seen, man, on this whole project has been insane. Just insane.
Now, actually, you alluded to something. This is not a studio film. You had to find your own personal backers and financiers, it sounds like. But then COVID gets in the way. So I know from talking with you guys that you have been actually showing the film. Where have you been showing it?
Yeah, it's been in drive-ins, specifically Blue Starlight in Austin. There's one, there used to be it was called Game on Expo, and it was a very big gaming festival, independent festival. Yeah. They've kind of morphed that into a drive-in experience. So that'll be playing this weekend in Phoenix.
This Saturday, in Scottsdale. Scottsdale, yeah. And they're doing like virtual cosplay, and people are getting creative, man. That's something really cool that we've seen. This whole film was a creative exercise, but the way now that, to your point, with COVID and still trying to have community and a sense of community like we're doing right now, a lot of it's virtual, man. And it's got its double-edged sword sometimes, but it's really neat to see a lot of cool tech being used to keep people held together during a time when everyone's kind of feeling isolated in their own space.
Yep.
Well, what I'm hoping is that everybody that's in this room, in the basement, and beyond, if we can figure out how to record this call, the film drops on video on demand on Amazon Prime and hopefully other sources. I don't know if it'll be on Voodoo or whatever.
Big rental services. And then if you want to, obviously purchase, Walmart, Target, Amazon, all places you can buy.
So that'll be dropping on August 11th. Otherwise, on Friday, you can watch Max Reload and the Nether Blasters this Friday night. So we know what everybody's going to do, and you're going to spread the word. You're going to write reviews. You're going to demand that it shows up on Netflix or something. Make a deal, guys. Or do you have to sell your soul to do that? I don't know if that's a bad move.
We're just taking it one day at a time.
One day at a time. I do not blame you. Just don't go to Quibi. Nobody's on Quibi. I don't know what Quibi is. I'm too old. Hey, we got to give away some more swag. So we're gonna go to another trivia contest. Everybody get ready, because this one's gonna be fast and furious. Now, I'm biased. I am a child of the 80s. This was my favorite video game. So who can name this video game? Scott couldn't figure it out.
No.
Unmute your mic. Say your name, where you're from, so I get it right. What is this video game? This is a deep cut, people.
Rampage.
I will give you some sound effects. Who's got it?
Daniel from Chile. Rampage.
What?
I think you said Rampage.
No,
What did he say?
So, Rampage.
One more time.
Rampage. Is it not Rampage?
No, it is not Rampage. That's what Scott thought it was too. I'll give you my imitation of the sound from this film. Ouch! Ouch! Oh no!
That game
Nobody.
never come to Chile.
It is definitely not Rampage. I know you think that because of the ape, but the ape is not the big part of the game. In fact, the ape only shows up every now and again. It's about that green guy. Did I stump everyone? 3, 2. I've got another question if this one doesn't work out. The answer, Crazy Climber. This is Crazy Climber. This was it's one of the few games like Robotron, if you remember Robotron 2048, where you had 2 joysticks, and you would move up and down, and then your arms and legs would go up and down, and you'd have to avoid the closed windows. All right, here's another trivia question, people. What is the name of this weapon, and from what movie? Here it is. Let's see, who knows this one? This should be easy.
I know the movie.
Wait, I heard somebody say it. Who said it?
Daniel.
Alexander from New Hampshire. So it's Carl.
Yeah,
it is Carl, but you already won a shirt, man. You can't win 2 shirts.
Hey.
All right, so So my friend from Chile, you also said Kroll, but what's the name of the weapon?
Oh, I don't know the name.
Oh, that's
But
key.
The movie is Kroll.
The movie is Kroll. If the guys are willing to give that to you.
The weapon it has the same name, or not?
The weapon is not Kroll. Kroll is the name. I thought the name of the planet actually. But the name of that weapon, anyone? It makes an appearance in Ready Player One in the movie. It tore in the big battle that happens with Sorrento. Nobody. It's called the glaive. Glaive, the glaive. But we'll give that to you in Chile. We're gonna have to figure out how to beam you what I want you to do is DM me your information, and
Okay.
and we'll make sure that we get that to you. Let's get back to our guys here. We're doing great.
Awesome, congrats.
So now,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, mute your microphones. So what's next for you guys? You got this film in the can. You're not going to sit on your laurels. Obviously, you need to promote the film. But what are your next projects in the hopper? Is it a film? Is it a book, screenplay? What's going on with you guys?
I mean, we're diehard creatives. We obviously built a company creating, so we have a marketing firm, and so that's what we do. We make films and take photos of awesome products for a living. So that's like, the dream job, right? And so within that, we do a lot of short film content. So we'll be releasing another short film here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's kind of like a monster movie. It's a 3-minute short film. So that's one thing that we've been working on.
Will that be something that we can watch on YouTube, or like how can we watch your movie?
Yep, it'll be on YouTube.
Definitely on YouTube, on the Cineforge Media channel. We'll probably put it on there too. It'll be on the Offensive Marketing Group channel. We'll spread it around.
Yeah, but other than that, we're kicking around screenplay ideas for the next movie. Obviously, if this one is successful, that helps a large amount of getting the next movie made.
For sure.
Yeah, making a movie is a labor of love. It takes a lot out of you, and it takes a lot out of your family. So if it's gotta be the right one at the right time.
Yeah, we put everything we had into this one for sure, creatively and spiritually.
Yeah, make sure that you share that with the basement when that movie drops, that monster film. Please do that. We want to support you in your efforts because it does definitely relate to Ready Player One. Speaking of Ready Player One and the film, we alluded to it from Spielberg, and one of the things that you talked about is how slick these modern films look. And I believe, and I've watched the movie countless times, the CGI in Ready Player One has to be the most slick. I mean, the race alone, which is all completely CGI. There is no. It's an incredible feat of filmmaking there. So I would qualify that as a more slick-looking film. What did you guys think of the film? What were your impressions? What did you like about it? What would you have liked to see?
Yeah, the moment that Ernie, you could tell that he was doing like a, hey, here's my caveat. He's like, the film is a different story than Ready Player One. He basically said, because the film was great. I loved it, but to me it doesn't compare to the book or the audiobook. Like that is as a masterpiece.
Different experience.
And I feel like they did a really good job taking a 12-hour audiobook and making it into a 2.5-hour film. I think they did a great job.
Yeah.
But again, it was a different, to me, they're two different things, and I like them. I love the movie, but it's a hard thing to make a movie out of. That's certain.
Yeah. And without committing to doing a long trilogy like Lord of the Rings, which the studio did not, I think they were testing the waters by giving it just a one-off. You're condensing all that just brilliance into an hour and a half.
There are so many moments in the book that you're like, oh my gosh, you see it play out in your head exactly, and then it's not in the movie, or they made it different. Yeah. And so we just went into it saying, let's just let's support this, and this is a ride.
We geeked out, man, and we were so stoked for the film to come out. But we had this conversation. I remember we're like, we got to go into this just treating it like it's its own amusement park ride version of what we love here. It's like an homage almost. And brace yourself.
Definitely
disappointed, but I love it.
I'll tell you, the one thing that I think the film did better than the book, because I've been rereading the book as well. There's a moment in the book where it's between the second and the third key, where after they do the Zork challenge, Sorrento and the Sixers figure out the Blade Runner clue unusually quickly. It didn't jibe with me with the characters of the whole idea is here you have Parzival, who really knows. He resonates so much with Halliday and the 80s. It's almost like he's reliving his own childhood through the fantasy childhood of Halliday, so that he's like, oh yes, this is definitely Blade Runner. I say unicorn, boom, it happens. But for Sorrento and his people to do that, I'm like, that's dubious. And I feel like if anything, even though what I don't like about the film is the clues weren't as geeky oriented, they were more emotional oriented, which perfectly fit the story arc. But as a Gunter, I'm like, yeah, but give a little something to us, a little something. And I think that little something was the adventure game at the end.
Yeah, I think so too, man. That's a good note. That was one of those things that really resonated from the book, where I was like, okay, they did that right. That's cool. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's hard. I mean, geez, we just made an independent film pretty much off the grid. Like you mentioned earlier, I could not even imagine creatively trying to jam everything that Ernie and Spielberg and all the people who were on the creative side of that wanted into this thing, and then having to run that by every major studio's legal department and IP. Oh, geez. Right. So the fact that they turned out a movie as entertaining and cool, albeit slick, as it was, is a feat in and of itself that Hollywood's never pulled off before. You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. So speaking of film, I think we want to show another exclusive clip. Which one do you think is the sexier of the clips, the trio or Reggie Gets Nethered? I think maybe Reggie Gets Nethered might be a funner clip, no?
Let's nether Reggie, man. Let's get him.
All right, we're going to nether Reggie. This is another clip from Max Reload and the Nether Blasters. And please get used to saying that, because it doesn't trip off the tongue easily. You got to make sure you get it right. So this is a clip. Reggie gets nethered, and then I'm going to let you guys explain what getting nethered means. Here we go.
It's like destiny. How crazy is it that game found its way to me?
Yeah, whatever you say, dude.
Right, Reg? Back me up. I mean, it's beyond coincidence. Reg. Holy shit! Reggie, what the hell, man?
Seriously?
Your eyes, man. Your eyes. What's wrong with you? Reggie, what the hell, man? Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I mean, no.
I got this. You need to calm down. Reggie, stop it. Dude, okay. Reggie, hey, slow down. Liz, you good?
No, I mean, his eyes are glowing red.
Reggie, Chuck. Oh, you want some of this? You want peace too? What about you? Oh, yeah, here we go.
That's great. That is such a fun clip. And you see Kevin Smith is in a rig that looks just like the Oasis. Or something like the Oasis. And so tell us, what does it mean to get nethered?
So basically, the game was created to the moment. It's kind of nebulous, but really back in the script, right? We're talking, Scott and I's idea of this is when you play the game, you will inevitably lose. It's too difficult to beat. That's why Max is the one. He beats it. But when you lose the game, it kind of takes you over, and you're possessed by the nether energy, and then you're not quite a zombie, but you're like a hive mind of the trickster character.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You become like a drone.
Yeah, and so you have red eyes, and your only goal is to help continue to spread the nether and to stop the one, which is Max, from being able to beat the nether per se. So. Yeah.
Now your lead, that trio seems to be the lead characters in your film. The clips that I've seen are very talented actors. Are they from the Arizona area, or did you do a nationwide casting call?
Yeah, we did a nationwide casting. Joey's out of Chicago, Joey Morgan, who plays Reggie, and then Tom Plumley is out of LA, and Hassie Harrison is between Texas and LA. So They all, have roots in LA, but they're across the country.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Joey's been in
How long?
stuff.
How long was the shooting schedule? Did you go over 30 days? Was it a 60-day shoot?
A total of 22 days. 90% of it was overnight.
Yep.
So it was brutal. Yeah.
There's a lot of night shoots in this film, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, and when you're not working, when you don't have a huge budget, you can't pay a business to close down. So you have to shoot when they're closed, which is overnight. So, yeah. So everything, even when it's daytime, it's nighttime.
I love seeing that video game store with all the DVDs, and it's great when he picks up that pixelated sword from Minecraft or whatever, and he's like, nah, let's go with the box cutter. And of course, Kevin Smith just being in his own freaking world. What character does Kevin play in this film?
Kevin plays Chuck, the owner of Fallout Games, the retro game used store.
Have you read Armada from Ernest Cline?
Several times.
Yeah. So what is his name? Blanking on the name.
Oh yeah.
It's very similar. The TIE fighter is right down the road from the game store, and he's just a guy with you think just with money that doesn't care about sales, and that's essentially Chuck. He's just
Chuck. He bought a video game store so he could
play
store his
games.
collection and play video games all day. Yeah.
Well, that works for me. Speaking of which, let's give away some more swag here. Everybody get ready to unmute your mics, and we want, if you've already answered a question, don't answer unless nobody else does. Here's question number 4. Who is this fellow with the beard? Scott, I stumped Scott on this one. Who is the fellow with the beard? The actor's name also, and a bonus, name of the metal-faced guy on the end. Who is this? Come on. This is my childhood. Heavy rotation. Come on, somebody. Are you kidding me? Nobody knows this?
This is Alexander from New Hampshire. It's Ming the Merciless.
It is Ming the Merciless. That is correct. Played by whom?
Now that I do not know.
He was in Minority Report. He plays the bad guy in that film.
I know.
Oh, come on. It begins with an M and it ends with an X on Cyba. Max von Sydow. Anybody know the name of the middle-faced guy at the end? His name is Clytus from the Flash Gordon movie. And by the way, if you have, I think, Amazon Prime, there is a documentary about the lead actor from Flash Gordon called Life After Flash. It's a messed up story, really messed up story. And if you saw Ted 2, I think it's Ted 2, with Seth MacFarlane, that actor's name is escaping me, but there's this big story arc about Flash Gordon. So, well, you already got a T-shirt. Maybe you'll get a poster along with that. We'll have to ask Jeremy and Scott if they're cool with that, right?
Good, yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. You know what? Since we're here, let's ask another question. Here's question 5. This is an easy one. It better be. What video game is that? Somebody knew. Come on. This is canon. This is canon. Are you kidding me? No one?
I know the answer, but I wrote the answer too.
That is Qbert.
What's it called?
Daniel from Chile, it's Qbert, that game.
It is Qbert, yes. So we have two diehard Gunters on the call. It's between the two of you guys, between Daniel and Alexander. All right. Well, let's round it up. Here's the last question that I have. You might know the name of the band, but name the guitarist.
That's Rush.
It is Rush, but who's the guitarist?
Oh, I don't know the name. But it's Rush.
Come on. Anson, don't let me down, man. Oscar? Evan?
Look at that stash.
Right? Evan, do you know? All right. Nobody. Alex Lifeson. Alex Lifeson is the guitarist. Everybody knows Neil Peart who recently retired from drumming, and of course Geddy Lee, whose original name was Gary. If you didn't know that, okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll figure out some other way to give away some more swag to people, because I know we prepped that. We're coming in on the time that we said, but if the boys are still willing to stay a little bit longer, I am willing to too.
I think we got about 15 minutes, and we got to jump into another call.
Yeah, not a problem. So let me ask you guys, getting back to the film, what do you think was the biggest hurdle in getting that film made?
Ooh, we got to pick one.
It could be more than one. I don't care.
Man, it was
the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, geez, in getting it made. You know, I honestly, it wasn't.
We didn't take. We were finally to the point where we were not going to let anybody or anything tell us what we could or could not do.
Yeah.
So it's
Like
hard
a
to answer
studio.
that question. I mean, funding, getting financing for a film is challenging, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we had a lot of amazing people come alongside of us, so
Oh my God.
it wasn't like that difficult. But I would say that being out of our control, so far out of our control, that's probably one of the more difficult things.
Yeah, and I think being creatives too, like we're pretty savvy, in our own ways when it comes to business, but this was a new form of business, and structuring it and dealing with SAG, because it was a SAG, it was a union film. We're really scrappy, and we like to do things our own way. We're very independent, very rebel, kind of grab the camera and run and gun and go. But I think along the journey of dealing with a lot of the requirements, you kind of have to take it a little slower and go, okay, these things have to be done in a certain fashion. And that was the most challenging. But to your point, dude, like we had hit a wall where we said, we're doing this thing come hell or high water. So I think we kind of hit a stride where there never really was a moment where it's like, this isn't going to happen.
Right.
So yeah, that's a good question, man. That's a deep one.
Was it a SAG ultra low budget, or did you do this at scale?
Maybe.
We keep
I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that. I'm sorry.
We'll say that it looks far higher than what it was.
Yeah,
that was our goal.
Yeah, and not to be like clandestine. We just want people to see the film and judge it by what the value appears to be on the screen. Let's put it that way.
Don't get me wrong. And I should explain, and I know because I'm trying to get my SAG card. But SAG ultra low budget, what it means is not the film is low budget. It's just that they qualify to pay at a certain pay rate, because this is a union shoot.
Yeah. The main reason is there's a SAG ultra low budget will cap at a certain dollar amount, and so if we said that means exactly where we're at. That's why that's the only reason.
I mean, this is not like I'm hoping and assuming you guys didn't have to resort to Kickstarter or something to finance your film. No,
Kickstarter was only to involve community.
That was fun.
Right.
Kickstarter, we love, like, again, indie and art and supporting artists. So we've both been on Kickstarter for over damn near a decade. Then we're like, all right, let's do something cool where we can give some really unique prizes to early backers and basically just get people involved to help spread the word early on. And it definitely served that function, which was super cool. And we're actually patenting Kickstarter stuff.
Yeah, and if you've seen the trailer, and I hope everybody has seen the trailer, if you've seen these clips, this is not a cheap looking film. This is very slick in the sense that it's well produced. It still has that organic feel. Scott and Jeremy were sharing with me on an earlier phone call that they wanted to use as many practical effects as possible before going digital. That was a priority. And then, of course, digital, you have to deal with, lighting effects and some of the special effects. Your eye glows. You're not going to, have contact lenses that glow. Thank you.
Right.
But no, the film is really well produced. It's funny. It's engaging. It's exactly the antidote that we need to COVID, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
And I think it's one of those things that, there's so much going on in the world. We need a little bit of an escape, and it provides. It's a perfectly timed summer escape. This is a great summer film. It's like one of those things when back in the 80s, Goonies comes out, or E.T. or any of these quintessential 80s films comes out in the summer. That's this, and it's very interesting because the big films that are dropping right now, that, like, there's so many films caught in post-production because studios want to keep making money. They can't afford it to release a film that's not going to hit theaters. So the fact that you guys are releasing this and the fact that it is video on demand, I think it's a good timing, quite frankly, because you can really get it into people's homes, which is where it needs to be. So please do rent early, rent often, or purchase your DVD or Blu-ray copy of Max Reload in the Nether Blasters. It drops on Friday on video on demand, and on the 11th it will be available for purchase. You can pre-order now, and then it'll ship to you toot sweet, especially if you use. I think it's free shipping on Amazon Prime. So I want to allow for those of you who have been very patient to unmute your microphones if you have a question for Scott or Jeremy, because they've been so generous with their time. So if you have a question, please unmute now and ask a question. Anybody? Bueller? Have any of you guys seen those videos that there's a number of these casts reunited that Josh Gad put together? I was telling that to Scott. So the Goonies had a cast reunion online recently. So did Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim's a weird film to have a reunion for. It only came out 10 years ago. It's like, you guys are not that much older. It's much funnier to see Sean Astin or Chunk. Anybody have any questions? Please. If you're looking for an older, scrappy bunter for your next film, give me a call. If it'll help me get my SAG card, I'm in.
Nice, thank you so much, man.
Woo! Oh, you taping this, Anson?
Yeah.
Guess what, guys? Give that man some swag. Anson, DM me. You just won yourself a T-shirt.
That's it, man. Put him on.
Love it.
All right. That.
That's the goal, man. We made a movie for people like us. There's no studio behind us. There are no suits behind us. It's literally just two idiots who wouldn't say take no for an answer.
We made this movie for you guys, man, literally, and that's not blowing smoke. We thought about this, and it's like, what would the movie we watched on Saturday night that we picked up from Blockbuster and got pizza and soda and just enjoyed with our buddies be? And that's what Mac is.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. It looks like a super pristine movie. Really good.
Thank you, man.
Well, I also have to say, too, that what's really refreshing is having an original story, because when, with all these rehashes and remakes or sequels, it's really refreshing to have a brand new story that both seems familiar and is new. And, we look forward to seeing your storytelling ability and directing. Did you just dab, Anson? It looks like you gave us a dab. I don't know what that was.
I did give you guys a little bit of a dab because I won some swag. Okay. I was telling my buddy.
Yeah, we got the bad echo. I think there's a lot of people. That might be a little bit better. Anyway, I want to thank Scott Condit and Jeremy, the producers and director of the film Max Reload and the Nether Blasters, for sharing their time. And they are members of. Jeremy, are you a member of the group also?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Fantastic. So they are there. Please feel free to mention them on the basement group. Absolutely. And Anson, you feel free to repost your YouTube recording of this interview. That way I can see how awkward I look. And then we'll also give hits. Anson, just so you know, he has his own YouTube channel, Azenium, on YouTube, AZINEUM. Be sure to like and subscribe. Scott and Jeremy, what's the name of your production company?
Cineforge Media, CINE.
So if you need any products advertised or marketing advice or what have you, hire them. They're awesome. Do watch their movies quite often. Again, on behalf of Katie and Chris, the other two admins of the basement, I want to thank everybody for coming and participating and winning stuff, all the way from Chile and Mongolia and New Hampshire and just all over the place. For those of you who are lurkers and didn't answer any questions, that's okay too. We love you all. And any parting words for us, Scott and Jeremy?
Man, I mean, just keep being you guys. It's beautiful that there are more and more and more. Being a nerd or a geek is a badge of honor. I think it's awesome. I think it's so cool that there's so many more movies, there's so many more places, books, video games. I mean, it's just, I think our time is now. You know, being a geek is cool.
Well said. And places to connect, man.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you, and thank everyone at the basement and the admins for doing this, man. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And let's definitely keep staying in touch, like you said on the chat thread. Send us friend requests, dudes. Let's chat. And we got this week where we're putting something crazy out that we made for you guys. We'd love to hear what you think of it.
Absolutely.
And that really speaks, again, I started the call with this, and I'll end with it, that Gunter culture, it really does include the creatives, the people that make the stuff that we love, whether they're video game creators, filmmakers, book writers, story writers, that, it's when you keep perspective and you say, even though these people might be famous or infamous, they are still fans. And that's what's special about the two of you, that you don't have to stand on your high horse or be whatever. Oh, we hang out with Kevin Smith. Like, Kevin Smith is like you guys. It's like they're all chill.
Cool,
and please give our best to all of our favorite stars. And if you see them on the red carpet, someday we hope there is a red carpet. And we could say we were there at the beginning. Everybody spread the word. Max Reload and the Nether Blasters. Catch it. So from everybody here at the basement, I want to say thank you to everybody. Have a wonderful day. If you didn't DM me your information yet, if you won the trivia contest, please do that, and I'll get that information to Scott.
Heck yeah.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Please stay safe. Please wear your mask. Please be healthy. And please speed Max Reload.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Max Reload. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.